Looking at this studio, you'd almost think that Mike's going to kick off this show. He's well equipped when it comes to the podcast game. Good morning and welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to another episode. It's the Samboner Show. As always, I'm Samboner Mick alongside my good friend, Mr. Colin Thompson, and one hell of a guest on our hands here today. And unfortunately, we're coming up on just a frustrating Game 6 loss, Sixers Celtics. But a good friend of the Samboner Show, Mr. Mike Gill from 97.3 ESPN, has joined us. What is going on, Mr. Gill?
I'm doing well. I'm trying as best as I could after a Game 6 loss, and we'll chop it up. I'm used to it though, right? We can hit record from every year previous and have the same conversation.
Oh my God! Yeah. Somebody somebody posted this morning the quadruple doink. What was that? The Leonard from Toronto. Like, that's the kind of shit that Philadelphia sports fans have to put up with on a regular basis. Now, last night was just one of those crazy situations. Sixers down 16, Mike. They finally get the game back in their hands.
Twice.
Yeah, they were up 2, and they had 4 or 5 possessions to go up 2 scores, maybe 3 scores, and they could not find the fucking ocean. I mean, everybody was just dead cold, and they went completely flat in the fourth quarter. What's his face? Jason Tatum gets hot, and the story was over in a matter of minutes, Colin. I mean, it's just one of those situations.
Right? That's the worst part about it is Tatum is playing horrible. I mean, I saw people posting on social media like, see, they should have taken Markelle Fultz because Tatum was playing so bad. It was a joke, obviously. Tatum's awesome. And then he hits that 3, and you're like, uh-oh. Because the way he plays, if you don't beat them on a night where he plays like that in your building, what is it about playing at home with all the energy where you're a professional athlete, Colin? Why can't the players get up to that level when the fans are there? They're jacked up. It's disappointment all the time. MVP award, Joel Embiid. Who's going to ring the bell? And then the team comes out flat. Is it like too much?
I think it has nothing to do with it, as much as it breaks the fans' hearts. It's all about just executing a player, and the best players are the smartest who focus the longest. That's it. It's so boring of an answer. Yes, it's buzzing. The place is going crazy. There's juice. But at the end of the day, what do you think the away team feels? They feel the same juice. You're almost energized more because you're going into enemy territory. So to me, it's just about executing and who can focus the longest. And that's who wins the games. Who can make the least
amount of mistakes. Though. Is there some sort of like mental capacity? Like I'm a big golf fan, right? I think golf is probably more of a mental sport than it is physical. But you look at guys like James Harden, you look at guys like Jason Tatum, like they almost have on and off buttons. Like they're diving all over the floor 1 minute and they're watching rebounds go by the next. It's like,
yeah, that's the problem. Like golf, you mentioned, man. You have to be mentally zoned in 100% for every shot. If you're only at 85% for a shot, you're going to pull it 15% somewhere. And 15% in that game is just awful. And if you are in best, like we're watching, I guess I was having the conversation with somebody today about like home court, home field. You play all year for home court. And the Celtics are 9-10 in their last 19 home playoff games. We see it in hockey all the time. The home team never wins, it seems like, in hockey. That Devils Rangers series, it was reverse. We see it in baseball all the time. I mean, having home field doesn't matter. Football, it seems like the home field is a little bit more of a factor.
It matters because of the snap count.
Right, the noise. But in basketball, it seems like more. Last night, Phoenix is at home. Chance to extend that series. They lose by 30.
It doesn't matter. A jumper's a jumper. Right? Like it's all high pressure jumpers, right? The thing about hockey, like, yeah, it creates a loud, but like no one's like gets in the goalie's head, like a little bit, right? Back in the old days. But like at the end of the day, with football, you can't hear the snap count. So that's a whole nother beast. And I'm not going to go down that algorithm and how that affects everything. People think it's jumping off sides. No, it's a whole nother can of worms when it comes to just playing in rhythm and offensively. You can't get into rhythm. So I think to answer your guys' question, it's a shame, right? Because you have these long seasons and you're grinding in 82 games for the NHL and the NBA. I mean, talk about endurance athletes. And then you're going to late in the playoffs, you get home court, and everyone's like, "Oh, we're so excited to be home." Hasn't really paid off for people.
Yeah, and it's funny, as for as much as I despise Marcus Smart. I really do. He's just one of those guys that make you cringe. But
he's on your team.
I'm gonna say you love him.
Mike, you hit it on the nose, Mike. Like he's the shit that's coming out of his mouth. It's like we want that to be coming out of Tyrese Maxey's mouth. Like he's right. If you're not leaving that court with some sort of blood dripping down your side, you didn't play hard enough. And last night was just a situation where, when the time mattered most, they didn't have any of that blood, or they had sweat coming down their feet.
In the game in Boston, they played high energy from start to finish. It seems like, anyway. Now, I had Jim Lynam on my show, and I asked him about that, and he said they're always playing high energy, but like what they did last night does not look like they did. Are they not playing as hard? Are they not playing with the same focus? I don't know, but what they did in Boston was not the same. Like, not the same pass movement. Defensively, the ball was swinging, and they were right up in front. They were regrouping defensively on Game 5 in Boston that they weren't doing last night. Now, Boston wasn't hitting any shots either, and you wonder, like, all right, Boston's not shooting it well. They're a little tight, so we're a little tight. I don't know, man. I mean, that's why whatever you see in one game, you can't – even in football, oh, Carolina looked great on Sunday. They're going to beat so-and-so. No, whatever they did on this Sunday is over and done with. Every game is a new compartment.
Yeah, and it's a great point, because at the end of the day, it just comes down to like a bounce or two, and it changes everything. We just talked about the Raptor situation. Like if that ball bounces and nicks the corner of the backboard with Kawhi Leonard, like it changes the whole trajectory. And no matter how
Game 5, Marcus Smart hit that three just two-tenths of a second late.
And we're not even talking energy and defense. It's just timely plays, and don't beat yourself. Like, it's so boring, but we did it. I've been a part of Coach Rule Tree. That's like his number one mantra. Like, if you don't beat yourself, you give yourself a chance to win. And like the teams that beat themselves the most, players are too good.
I think we're talking about home court advantage, and it's not like it's the same. I think part of that is because the difference between team 2 and team 8 now is so small. Back in the day, the difference between team 2 and team 7 was so wide that you didn't have to be your best, and you could be at home, and that team wasn't coming into your building because they simply weren't good enough. Now the difference in talent between team 2 and team 7 in a play. If you were in the NBA playoffs and you were the 8 seed, the 7 seed, the 6 seed, the 5, you weren't winning. Like,
no.
You go back through history and look, there's like one number 5 seed, nobody, unless you were 1, 2, or 3, won an NBA title. And if you weren't 1 or 2, it was rare. Now it's a wide open field, and that shrinks the home court advantage because the talent disparity is not so great anymore.
Yeah, no, and you got a guy in Jimmy Butler who is playing like Michael Jordan. And, it's just one of those things where, that guy turns his game up. He's going to be really tough to beat. Now, granted,
in the NBA, you have like the load management stuff where these guys don't play every night. They don't care about the regular season. So I'm 45 and 37 and I make the playoffs as long as I'm in and healthy. So now this Heat record looks like they were an average team, but they had a lot of injuries early in the year, like that. And then, the Lakers are a team that LeBron missed a lot of time. Anthony Davis missed a lot of time. So if those guys play all 82 games, what's their record? Probably a lot better than the play-in. Right? You have 2 teams that won play-in games that are now possibly going to the conference finals. Shows you, and I don't know if this is a good thing on the business side of sports, what the heck does the regular season mean anymore other than just earning money for these organizations?
I think the regular season for both NBA and the NHL has always been exhibition. Honestly.
And that's why football is king. And I say that as a football guy. It has nothing to do with me playing.
No, I think we all agree.
Yep.
Yeah. It's just every game. And you take college football. Before now they have 14, about to be 10-team playoff. But before that, if you lost, like I remember vividly being in University of Florida, and you're like, man, this is so cool. Like, this is bigger than the NFL down there. And you just don't lose. Like, you lose one game, it's a wrap. Season's done. Like, your goal is national championship. So it was very unique, and that was my birth. So I digress. There's lots to discuss. And I love Mike, and I go way back. Mike's been so gracious to me in my media career. Now we've become friends. Mike's been a mentor, friend, someone I've worked with. He's been in the media company before. I've did radio with Mike and Kate May. I've done radios in that studio with Mike. I've done radio in Atlantic City with Mike at Chickies. We've done a lot of stuff together, and we appreciate you coming on, Mike. Mike's a Samboner at heart. We're going to get in that in a second. But Mike, Jersey Shore, Sea Isle episodes coming up at the end of the month. Mike, we do an episode at the end of every month highlighting a different part of the whirly country that has great food, great drinks, great community. We've done South Philly. We've done Delco. We've done Key West, Florida. Sea Isle is coming up at the end of the month. Can you paint a beautiful picture? Because you're always, and follow Mike on Facebook, follow Mike on all social media. Mike always does an amazing job bringing up the bars and restaurants and small businesses down the Jersey Shore. You do a great job highlighting it, asking the best places to go. Can you paint the picture of the Jersey Shore food scene?
Well, our show on Fridays on the radio, we dub as Happy Hour Friday. And we basically ask people to text in where they are, what they're drinking, and give everybody a recommendation for the weekend. All right, Friday, tell us what you're having. I'm a huge craft beer guy. I'm a New England hazy IPA guy. All right, so people know that's what I like. So they'll text into the show where they're going, and I'll say, look, where can I found this beer. Where can I get it in this area? So that is kind of how we've built our Friday shows. And then we'll have people tell us, where are you going? What are you trying to go to eat? Now, when you talk about the Jersey Shore, I mean, there's just, everything. You can go from the pizza scene to the Italian scene to the top flight restaurants, because you got Atlantic City. You got world-renowned restaurants in Atlantic City in some of those casinos. But then you got your little hole-in-the-wall dive bars that are legendary down here. You come down to Margate and go to Robert's Place. The place is about as, 10 feet wide, and it only fits about 50 people, and they're throwing orange trays at you with wings on them. But that place is elbow to elbow every night of the week in the summertime because of that. You go down all the way down to Wildwood, Cape May. Everybody loves the pizza on the Wildwood Boardwalk, Sam's. You go into Sea Isle, Avalon, you got Mike's Seafood. You could sit on a picnic table and just kind of lounge. You go into Strathmere and go to Twisties, and you feel like you're in another world over there, right? You go to the Deauville and sit on the beach. You tell me a place where you can go from Cape May and get a fine dining restaurant and then hit all the little dives and dumps and everything, affectionately dumps. These places are awesome all the way up. I did a piece on our website that you could drive from Atlantic City, really, if you want to start in Brigantine, which is awesome. Go over the Brigantine Bridge, go through Atlantic City, and go all the way down Ocean Drive. You can find something that you'll go back to every single time through every single city from Brigantine down to Cape May.
Mike, you're speaking my language, dude. You're speaking my language. I'm going to one-up you there, though. A better way to do it is by boat. Because if you start back...
No,
you can hit all these spots.
I've been campaigning for years to go. I don't know how well you guys are aware of the whole Bader Field situation. It's a disaster. They've been trying to sell Bader Field. No one has a plan of what to do. I have said, look, I love Baltimore, man. I'm a huge Inner Harbor fan. I love Fells Point. I go down there all the time. That Bader Field should be like a Fells Point with Inner Harbor, with restaurants and bars and shopping, and then boat taxis taking you from there over to Gardner's Basin, where you've got Back Bay, Ale House, you've got Sirens. There's a whole story. Sirens, real quick, was an awesome bar. Sirens. It was an old gas station for boats. All right. I used to go there all the time. They made it a private club now. You got to pay a $500 minimum and there's only 500 memberships or something like that. But this place was great. Take the boat over there, but you could take the boat literally and go up and down. Wonder Bar is a boat spot. I'm Atlantic County. I know a lot of people you guys are more Cape May County. I go down to Cape May County plenty, but the Atlantic County spots like Wonder Bar, you pull your boat right up there. Bang. You can hang out there all day. Twisties. You ever been to Twisties in Strathmere?
Oh my God, dude! It's right next to the Deauville, and you had me smiling ear to ear because you actually pronounced it correct. I grew up boating from Sea Isle to Strathmere every single day. Like my uncle-in-law It's like clockwork. If you weren't ready at 12 o'clock, that boat was fired up. If you weren't ready at 12 o'clock, sayonara, take your bike. I'll see you there. Because you had to get there early enough to get a spot. And the Deauville Inn only had probably a good 10, 15 spots at the time. Now they've redone it. It's become a little bit more mainstream. But, yeah, Twisties, Deauville, you go over to Summers Point, you hit the Krabby Shack, and then you can walk across the street. It's like, pretty much flirting with death trying to cross that street. Then you go over there to the Anchorage, and then shout out Charlie's Bar, one of the greatest dive bars in the world. The list goes on and on, dude.
I've talked about I wanted to do a boat taxi service from the Ocean City side over to the Summers Point side, so you don't have to have people driving over that causeway. You would say, well, don't drink and drive. Well, some people are not smart and they try to do it anyway. So why give them the chance to do it? Give them a boat access to go from Ocean City over to Krabby's, from Ocean City over to Anchorage.
Dude, you're spot on. I mean, the harbor has it. I just went down to Fort Lauderdale area, and Colin directed me to the water taxi there. Just unbelievable up and down the
Hollywood to Fort Lauderdale.
So and cool.
And I learned the hard way because we're Ubering from a bachelor party. We're Ubering like $100. It was crazy down there, bachelor party season, and $100 from Hollywood to Fort Lauderdale. And I'm like, holy shit!
I have a house in Deerfield, so we use that a lot.
Yeah, it's cool. But down here in Annapolis, so Annapolis is right next to Eastport. It's all the same thing, but Eastport's a small little town in Annapolis. It'd be like Cape May and West Cape May or whatever. So there's a water taxi. And it's awesome. And you can go like to your house on it. You could say, I want to go to my house. You could stay wherever you want to go. It's small.
Yeah.
And you could go pretty far with it. Or you can go right across the Eastport and hit 4th Street, which is the best freaking street.
I go down to Clearwater for Philly spring training. I've been going for 20 years. And another awesome idea for these towns, if they invest in, is to get these golf cart free rides. They have the Florida free rides down there. You just tip the person, you get advertising to make money, but you offer that service for your town. Cape May would be great.
They have it, dude. It's now in Cape May. It's now in Wildwood. It's making.
There's one here in Annapolis.
I think I just saw one in Stone Harbor. Mike, on that point too.
I did see Stone Harbor had one. Yeah.
So Mike, you and I met. We met in 2008. I was in Clearwater. I'm a big frequent Clearwater guy. My bachelor party in Clearwater. We rented out the Hooters box, the whole nine, and then we went back there for our first year anniversary in 2009. And we went to the bar right across the street from the hotel, and you and your entire team was there, posted up at the bar. We were yucking it up for like a good hour. I mean, you probably wouldn't remember.
The old Tilted Kilt?
No, that not by the stadium. I know the old Tilted Kilt, but this was actually right on the Clearwater Beach Strip. I forget the name of the bar, but it was like you and a couple other people from your team. And dude, it was 14, 15 years ago. But yeah.
Well, I've been going for so long that there's so many people we've met that we stay in touch with. We all meet up down. I just got, I went down there this year. And I love, so the idea with the golf cart. So this goes back to the Phillies World Series. So I'm in Cape May and I'm sitting on Washington Street having a beer at, what's Washington one of the bars? No, the Irish place.
Oh,
Ugly Mug. Yeah. So I'm sitting there having a beer at the Ugly Mug. It's like the middle of the day. I call Colin. I say, I want to watch the Phillies game tonight. Where do I go? He tells me the Seaview, right? Okay. So I tell I was staying at the Icona, and they have a shuttle service. The guy says, I'll take you there, but I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to wait outside because you ain't getting in. I said, dude, it's 6 o'clock. The game doesn't start till 8:30. I don't know if I ever told you what happened. I get there. And the place is so packed at 6 o'clock, I couldn't get a seat, and we left. I didn't end up watching the game there. So we got in the guy's thing. He drove us back. I ended up watching it. I can't talk about where I watch it because I did have an incident not with me, but I was a little upset. They had a band. What do you guys think?
We went to Carney's.
What do we think? We didn't even hear what Colin has to think about this one.
No, I know where he went. You definitely went to Carney's if they had a band.
The band came in, and at 10 o'clock, they started rocking. I said, you can't start this band. You can't do it. And the band starts rocking at 10 o'clock. And as soon as that band started to play, that dude hit a home run.
Well, maybe that's a good thing. No, I hear you. Yeah, it's interesting because Carney's, was it a Friday night?
Phillies game was a Saturday night.
Yeah, so that's like a huge, it was
packed in there. I will say that the people weren't leaving because that band was playing. It was packed in that joint. But I was like, dude. And the bartender, he had a metal thing and a spoon, and he was banging it, booing the band. It was hilarious.
Yeah, that Carney's is like even September. I mean, that will be packed all the way through like November. That's like the party spot.
I had a good time. The bartenders were cool. I actually had a
Philly
funny
guys.
story about the beer because you know me, I'm a beer snob, and their beer was not snobby. All right, so I walked. No, they didn't even have that. So I walked to the back. They had two bars. It's like a front bar and then a back bar, and then there's another room. So I walked to the front bar, and I'm looking around at the taps, and I'm like, this isn't good. So they're like, come on, we have no place else to go. We've been to like 4 places that we couldn't find a seat. So finally, I'm like, all right. So I walked to the back bar, and they have Kona, which I don't love Kona, but I'll drink it if I had to. Not bad. It's just whatever. So I ordered the Kona from the guy. I walk back to the front. So I do this like 3 or 4 times. Well, then the girl comes over. She's like, do we want to clear out your tab because he's leaving? I said, no, I've been ordering beers at that back bar because you don't have the beer at the front. She goes, well, what are you drinking? I said, Kona. She said, oh, no, they just didn't take the top off. You've been drinking Victory all night long. Brotherly love.
You're getting tuned up. You're getting tuned up. Now, right down the street, this is not the Cape May episode, but right down the street, they just added, I think, the best restaurant in Cape May. It's changed the island. It's called Taco Caballito.
We went there. They
just redid it.
Wasn't great. We went upstairs. It was a weird setup in the upstairs where the TV's like behind the bar. Yeah. We wanted to stay there, but we just didn't.
They just redid it. Now, I digress again, Mike. Talk about your beer reviews because you're a Samboner at heart, what you're doing, and you're part of a beer club. Talk about your whole presentation because it's really cool what you're doing. Love it. Mike. Paging Mike. Down the Jersey Shore, the Wi-Fi is suspect. Call Comcast. You there, Mikey?
You froze. All right. You said talk about my beer reviews. I'm a Samboner at home. I lost you there. You froze.
Okay. I'm sorry. That was on me. Now, talk about your beer reviews. What do you got for us? How they start? Where do you see it going? I love it, man.
All right. So I used to be flat Miller Lite. That's it. I only drank Miller Lite for years and years and years. And I'm not like a Miller Lite hater or anything. If that's your beer, great. I don't know how it started or when. I can't be like, this is the first time I tried it or whatever. Now, my buddy owns a craft beer bar. It was one of the first craft beer bars in Atlantic City. And I went there and maybe I tried something and I was like, huh. And then all of a sudden I just started kind of trying and experimenting and I liked it. And now, I mean, I can't even imagine drinking a Miller Lite anymore for me, not for anybody else. If you're a Miller Lite guy or whatever light beer you like, or maybe a Bud Heavy, don't care. That's on you. So I started drinking the beers, and people always ask me on the show. We started this happy hour Friday, and people would text in beers, and then people wanted to know my thoughts on the beer. So I started, and this is rather new. We've been only doing a couple episodes, but then my girlfriend got me a craft beer of the month. She got it for Christmas. So they send me 6 beers every month, and then other people started to catch on. So I just started drinking them and smelling them, and the smell test and the taste and everything. And now I've kind of become like, you know, happy hour Friday. People ask me all the time for beer recommendations. So you can watch them. I give you a little review. I do Untapped. So I'm on Untapped. You can follow me there and see all my beer choices. So my scale is from 0 to 5. That's the Untapped scale.
Mike, you are no doubt about it a Samboner at heart. I just jumped on your Instagram this morning just to see what I was getting myself into. And I'm just going down your rabbit hole. And Colin, this guy is Samboning a daytime IPA from Lagunitas. Meanwhile, talking about how he's doing himself justice because he's on a keto diet. I'm like, you are speaking our language, my friend. And I'm a Miller Lite guy at heart, but when it comes to the shore, dude, I was on an all-day IPA kick for, the longest time because it was one of those just crushable IPAs you could just drink on the beach, 4.5%, 5%. But yeah, man, keep it up, dude. You are Samboning beers, and I love it.
Mike.
All-day IPA is your classic, hey, I don't know a lot about craft beer, but if I want to give it a try, you would go to the all-day IPA. Now, you mentioned the Lagunitas. So there was a time I lost like 60 pounds because I did keto. So what happened was you can't have a lot of carbs on keto. So, you know, we started drinking the White Claws, and me and my girlfriend looked at each other and said, nah, this isn't going to work. So I did all the research. I started researching. It's got to be low-carb, low-cal IPA beers. I could give you a list of 50 of them now, dude, and tell you if you're on keto, if you're on keto, I got 50 low carb, low cal IPAs that you can drink. 96 carbs, 3 calorie beers that are very IPA. And that Lagunitas Daytime is number one on my list of keto style.
No, I agree with you, man. The all day stuff was good 2-3 years ago. I think it's lost its luster a little bit. There's definitely way better options.
It's the Miller Lite of the IPA. How about
you know
that?
what I love about the and again, I'm a numbers guy. I'm a consumer. If I'm going, I'm going. So the IPAs aren't. I'm not there yet. Maybe as a parent or an older fellow.
That's where you go with Lagunitas Daytime. That's where you go with Lagunitas Daytime.
He doesn't like the hops, dude. He doesn't like the hops.
I go Corona Light.
Dude.
I go Corona Light, least gluten beer, and the next day because I'm playing and lifting and I'm not as swollen. So I'm good. That's what I drink it. It's clear to me. I feel great the next day. Also, the one IPA I do really love, though, other than KMA IPA, is I love High Life. Cigar City.
High Life. Okay,
yeah.
So Colin, if you like High Life, this is good. There's a beer called High Low. It's the same Cigar City, but it's less calories and less carbs.
Ah, that's great Cigar City knowledge.
Cigar City, and the funny part is, all right, so I go to Tampa, Clearwater all the time. You go to all the bars down there, they have high-low everywhere. So I said, do you guys not have high-lie? And they don't even know what I'm talking about. But if you come here, you go to the liquor store in Cape May or up in – it's in an orange can with green. The high-low is in a green can with orange. It's just the reverse. It's about 100 calories and like 6 carbs. The high-low, it's called.
Shout out to Collier's Liquor Store in Cape May. Have to get a free shout out on the show. Now, okay, that's just fantastic knowledge. Mick, what do you got for
there's just a lot to unpack. I want to drive to wherever Mike is right now and just start samboning some beers with him.
This summer, Mike. Now, Mike, are you doing any remote shows this summer that we can roll up on, Mike?
I don't know yet. I actually had a random person. I used to do a show down in Cape May at the Marquis de Lafayette. By the way, there's the high-low, by the way. I don't know if you can see it.
We used to do it together, Mike. We did the show together. I used to ride my bike now.
I'm talking to the viewers, not you.
Oh, okay. It's a podcast, Mike.
We did a show at the Marquis de Lafayette in Cape May every, Mondays. We were up there outside. It was fantastic. It was awesome. I don't know. We just did a show over at Maynard's in Margate. What a great spot. You ever been to Maynard's in Margate? Man, they still got the trough in there to go to the bathroom. It feels like you're at the Palestra.
Ah, man. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Yeah, Mike, is there any bars in Seattle, Mick, we can get Mike hooked up with where you can do some shows from? Then we'll roll over and.
Oh, man. We could definitely get some shows going in Seattle. Ocean Drive, The Point. Might be able to set up at Mike's Seafood for all we know.
Yeah, it's
a BYOB, but still.
What's there's a board at The Point. Is it called The Point? It's new. It's right on the boardwalk there. Yeah. They have one in Summers Point too. And you can take your boat to the one in Summers Point. The one in Seattle I have not been to.
Right. Yeah, same concept, man. I mean, the pandemic kind of flipped a lot of things around, but yeah, same concept. You can boat to the Krabby Shack, you can go under the bridge, go right to The Point. Now the one in Seattle is on the beach. It's the old Carousel, the old Springfield.
R.I.P.
Oh, right. So we used to do our show at the Sixers Beach Bash at Jack's place.
Jack's, yeah, man. Shout out. Wow.
Gone, but not forgotten. Jack's place. So we did the show there. It was the year Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons were both there. The line to see those guys went from Jack's place all the way around the block up to the beach. And at that point, they decided we're too big for this place. We got to move. Yeah. So they started to do like a caravan instead of like the Jack's place. And now Jack's place is gone. They tore it down, right?
Sounds like the Taylor Swift concert, Mike.
So
Mike, what do you got on tap for us today, man? You gonna be talking just Sixers for the most part?
A little of this. I got Sixers. We're gonna weave in Sal Powell's on Friday. He wants to come on to talk about the Eagles' schedule release. So we're gonna dive into that. Every day at 4:00, we do football at 4. So it's like mandatory Metallica. All year long at 4:00, we do football. And, a lot of Sixers post-mortem, I guess. Now, the season's not over.
Right.
Do they not know what time this game is going to be on Sunday yet? At time of recording, we don't have a time for this game yet, right?
Yeah, every Mother's Day, every mother's dream, right?
Well, my girlfriend's son has a crew race, and my girlfriend signed us up to be like the grill masters for the grill that day.
I
It's got to
know,
be at
man.
night.
I got a game 1 to 3. I'm praying that it's later in the day.
They got to
No,
bury that
well,
at night.
the problem is on a Sunday, 3:30 is like the prime time Sunday slot on a Mother's
But
Day.
it's not on Mother's Day, though, because Mother's Day, right? People are going to church now. People are going to brunch. It's a whole Mother's Day is more of a daytime thing, where Father's Day, well, in my house, it's an all-day thing. But
Well,
that's
the good news is that Denver won, so they're done.
Yeah.
Now there's only 2 games that they have to card, not 3. If there was 3
Possibly
games that
3.
they were going to card, we were likely going to be the noon.
No, possibly 3 because no, because the Heat Knicks game is Monday night, right?
Yeah,
Because
no,
you
there's
got
only two
got,
games.
Yeah, because you got Heat Knicks. If that game goes 7, that's going to be Monday night. And if Lakers Warriors, that'll be game 7 on Sunday. So there is a third game, but that game's going to be on Monday.
Correct.
What do you think of the Eagles 425 Christmas Day Monday?
I hate it.
What?
I hate it.
Oh, because you want multiple days to party.
I feel like the Eagles on Christmas, exactly, Colin, is like having your birthday on Christmas.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Christmas. I got 35, 40 people that come over here. We're hooting, we're hollering, we're listening to Christmas music. Basketball is one thing. I can get by having the Sixers on, but there's only 16 games in a year. 16 games in a year. I look forward to those 3 hours on those
17.
specific 16 days. For it to butt up against Christmas, a day where we're already celebrating or half in the bag by 3 o'clock, like I'm just not a fan of it, man. I really not.
Last year, the Sixers are going to play on Christmas, I would imagine, again. So you're going to get a Sixers Eagles. You might even get them crossing over times. Now, we have a big New Year's Eve party at my house every year, and the Eagles play New Year's Eve at 1 o'clock. So do I start my New Year's Eve party at 1? We might not make it to the ball drop.
That's it.
Mike, you're not making it to the ball drop. I would make it maybe at 5, give yourself an hour of recouping, and then get back on the horse.
Yeah.
But the Eagles they're playing Arizona. Schedule. They're playing Arizona at 1 o'clock on New Year's Eve. I mean, by that time, you're hoping you're clinched and they're gone in the game. But that's the point that Mick made. You only get 17 games. I hate to just be like, this game's a waste. I don't want to watch it.
Yeah, and that's actually one. And I'm sure you'll talk about this all afternoon, but that's only one of 3 1 o'clock games. They play 2 against Washington, 1 against Arizona, and everyone else is primetime, 4:25, 8:20.
And I want to touch on this. I want to touch on this for the fans here. In Carolina, we played a lot of 1 o'clock games when I was there. We weren't very good. We were up and down a lot. And it's a great routine to get in. When you're a player, just from the player's perspective, I'm not talking about fans. I'm talking about from a player's recovery, mindset, family life balance. You play the game at 1. You get at the stadium, say, between 9 and 10 a.m., 11 a.m. You get to the stadium, boom. You're out of the stadium by 5 o'clock. As a player, you're home for dinner at 6. You get home for halftime of the afternoon games of the 4:30 kickoffs or whatever. You have dinner, enjoy time with your family that came to the game. Get up the next day. You're able to get a good night's sleep. If you're the away team, you travel. You're home by 9 o'clock. You're able to have a bite to eat and go to bed. Not too late. When you play primetime football games, when you play a 4:30, you play an 8:30. Those 8:30 games, if you're traveling 3-4 hour flight, you're not getting into your bed until 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning if you're the road team. That has a massive impact on clubs. Now, your veteran team, can you handle it? Of course. But these good football teams that play a lot of primetime, it's a grind. And all fans are, what do you mean? But when you go to bed and lay your head in a pillow, you're getting on a 45-minute bus ride to take you to the plane, then go through a TSA, then get on the plane, then wait for clearance if there's thunderstorms. So just something to talk about that has an effect on teams.
Yeah.
Now, and a maturity on the coaching staff to give guys more off time. Some coaches are like, no, we're going to grind. And it's like, dude, we just landed at 5 in the morning. I only got 3 hours of sleep, so that's something to keep in mind.
Colin, dude. Yeah. I think the Birds, I think they open up Sunday night and then week 2, they're Thursday night. I can't imagine.
Really?
Sunday 4:25.
Sunday 4:25 and then right into Thursday night football week 2.
Yeah, they play Thursday night, and then the next week they play Monday. It's a weird Monday night because they're doing doubleheader Mondays.
7:15. I saw that
7:15 Monday night game in week 3. So they're playing Thursday night in week 2, and then they have a weird month. So we were talking about like creatures of habit. You guys are, man, and like to be playing 4:25 Thursday, Monday 7:15. You're all over the map.
And the nice thing is that's a winning football club. They have plenty of guys in that room that have done it before. They have veterans in every position. They're going to make sure everybody's ready to rock and roll. And there's trust there because at the end of the day, like the NFL, if you're a good walkthrough football team, and I know it sounds crazy for people, but if you're a good, there's not a lot of players on the team. Like I'm playing defensive back in practice sometimes because we're short. People don't understand that. Like there's not a lot of humans to practice because your left tackle and your right tackle, they're not practicing because they just took 80 ridiculous reps in the game. Jason Kelsey, how much is he practicing? Okay. And then all of a sudden you got who's running your scout team offensive line to give the defense a look. So you're thin. So if you're walking through a lot, your coaches are playing the scout team. So it's a unique side of it that people may not see. But you have a veteran team, GM, you know, a lot of good pieces there that are going to figure that puzzle out. I'm a huge Birds fan of just the roster and the organization. Of course, fandom as a kid growing up there, but they do it the right way. They're highly respected. I think they'll handle it well, but it's unique. That Thursday night game's where? In New England? I mean, excuse me. The first game of the week is Sunday in New England?
At New England and then home. It's a home Thursday night game against Minnesota. Okay, so I'll do the math here for fun because this is a unique topic. That's what we do here at the Samboner Show and Not For Long Media. Unique shit. So 4:30 kickoff Eastern time. Yeah, by the time they get out of the stadium, it's usually like 5 or 6 hours later. So you're going to get out at like, say you get to the plane at 10 o'clock. Get aboard the plane, take off at 10:30, 11, home by 11:30, midnight, drive to your house. You're going to be sleeping by the time you calm down around 1, 2 in the morning. You sleep in as much as you can. You probably can't sleep in past like 7 o'clock. Most guys are because you're in routine by then. And then you're waking up for a lift or they're going to be walking through. So they'll walk through all week. So the recovery's done. So again, that's the dynamic of it. Then they'll be off that weekend. Jason Kelsey will probably be down in Sea Isle. So if you want, he'll be down there the second week of the season in September. So I don't know, just a fun little conversation there, but yeah, man, it's there's a lot of merit though. People don't understand where the routines that these guys get in. You're used to playing at Sunday at 1 o'clock or 4 every once in a while. They're only playing 1 o'clock 3 times all year, and that's it. Everything else is all over the map, and 4:25 and 4:05 and 4:35. I mean, it's
now they're kicking in the whole, the flex system that comes into play week 13. I think it's going to be full time next year. Yeah,
it's just NFL's just trying to find a way to dominate. Like
Wednesday. Well, here's the thing I thought. So they're playing Black Friday this year. Okay, that's cool. It's a 3 o'clock Friday game. That's another time that's way off the map. But Christmas is going to start moving up the week now. Are they going to try to stay and play Christmas games on Tuesday, Wednesday, or are they just going to say, all right, we'll hold off and let the NBA have their day back for a couple of years?
No, that'll never happen. The NFL will find
establish Christmas. Are they going to play Tuesday? Because next year, I guess Christmas this year it's on a Monday, right? So it's going to be either Tuesday or Wednesday next year.
They've already made that decision. That's already been talked about. There'll be a game, and it'll be between 2 teams. And they may not be the best 2 teams, but there'll be a game on. And they're going to find a way to make that happen. You could flex into a Christmas spot too. There's a lot with that. But I would keep an eye. There's no way the NFL is going to give it up because how much money is that? Everyone's off work. The money talks, man. So
you ever play a game in overseas? Did you have to play in any of those games?
I did not, but a little insider knowledge on that. I was there this year, by the way. If everyone wants to go over there, I mean, seeing NFL football there would be great, but just go watch the soccer game over there. It's life-changing from a fan's perspective. It's super cool and unique. But I was there for a Tottenham Hotspur, so I was in the stadium. Now, one of my good buddies played for the Jets, and he's like, from a player's perspective, it sucks. Like, you stay like 45 minutes outside of London, and you practice like 45 minutes to an hour outside of London. So you don't even like enjoy it. Like, you're just it's no different. You just roll in and practice and then play and leave. Like, it's not really what it looks like from a player's perspective. But the problem is they have world-class grass there. Again, from a player's perspective, Premier League only plays on grass. But they flip a turf over at Tottenham. You could roll the grass off and turf pops up. So the guys play on turf. So guys don't like that either. But that's just, again, from my guys.
Well, like the Jags are playing their back-to-back weeks this year.
Now, that'll be fun. They'll probably put them downtown, find a way to bus them to practice every day.
Yeah.
Wasn't there talk at one point to actually field a team? I
wouldn't be shocked if there's a division over there. Germany.
They're talking about that, that Jacksonville was thinking about, because the owner owns a soccer team over there. To put a team there full time. How are you getting free agents? And
I think you expand it. I think they would expand. it. Like
the Werewolves of London.
I love it. Yeah, it's a good point though. I think they could do it if there's a team in like Germany and you play, their teams go over there and they stay, right? So the Eagles go over, they play the team in England, they play the team in Germany back-to-back weeks and fly home, right? Then like those teams, they play Dallas, they play Houston, right? They're close, and then they fly back to London, something like that. I don't know. Listen, I'm sure the NFL is talking about it. Why not?
They had enough problems with making the schedule this year, apparently. Do you hear about this? They didn't know the schedule was even going to be ready for last night. They were having so many problems because of the television networks fighting for the games. They got rid of the Fox CBS thing for the most part now. It's a free-for-all, and they're like, no, I want that game. And then the schedule guy's like, well, then I got to move that, So it was kind of a mess with all the schedule, but, they got it together. But putting teams over there would be another whole
9:30 too sometimes is like, I don't know. I'm not a big fantasy football guy anymore, but there's been days where I wake up like, oh shit, I gotta put this guy in my roster. I didn't even wake up yet. I didn't brush my teeth yet.
9:30. I'm not like intently into it, but like the fact that it's on while you're having coffee and you're just kind of like, oh, that's nice.
Yeah,
that's
not bad.
That's how I got in the Premier League, because you're like, what's this? During COVID.
By the way, you asked me about the beer. I just had, so the beer I had last night was called, what the heck was it called? Haze Well with Others.
I saw that.
Haze Well with Others was the beer. It's from Torrance, California. I just had a beer. Because we're talking Cape May County here. I was down at Mudhead in Wildwood.
Good spot.
Great spot.
Yeah, real good spot. I was very impressed with the spot. I tried the beer. So I was recommended a beer called Rambler to Miami. I guess the backstory is Wildwood starts on Rambler Avenue and ends at Miami Avenue. So I had that beer. I gave it
Who's
a 3.
The brewing company, Mike?
Mudhead.
Are they brew the beer as well? Okay.
All the beers they brew themselves. Yes. I gave it a 3.75. I liked it. If you get into the 4s for me, I'm going back for more. Like, not that I wouldn't go back, but 3.75, very good. So try that beer out. I'll give them a positive review. I wanted to, because the guy told me, hey, will you try one of the beers? I said, sure. Which one? He told me Rambler to Miami is my style. I got it. So just for the people watching, Mudhen was cool. They were very nice. They were cool with me, and they recommended that beer. I would say definitely worth your time. 3.75 is
we've been doing this Samboners thing for close to 4 years. 2 years live on the media presence, and we do a monthly theme: cheesesteaks, hoagies, burgers, dogs, wild card, which is anything. We've never done a beer month.
We don't.
I recently had Warwick Brewing reached out, Wissahickon Brewing reached out. They want to get on board with the Samboners. I'm just thinking to myself, like, this could be some sort of cross collaboration. We could do a beer month and just start fucking hitting breweries left and right.
By the way, just real quick. Cape May Brewing, I got recommended Snag and Drop. They got a 4.25. It's one of the highest beers I ever drank. Here's my problem. It's 10% APV, which is a little too heavy.
Isn't that like the Evacuation? They're double IPA.
They have a but this is Snag and Drop. I was impressed, but it's too heavy, man.
It's way too heavy, especially in the hot summer days.
If you want one beer, I just want a beer. 4.25 is the number out of 5 on the Untapped scale. Bang.
For those, we talk a lot of Cape May Brew today, and I got to know Ryan, the owner and founder. They're my neighbors in Cape May, and they're really just genuinely amazing people. They've become great friends with me and my wife Sydney and my family. So if you support that business, like, you're supporting good human beings. But
they just bought Flying Fish.
Yes, good humans, really good humans. But their Boat Ramp Champ beer, which is paired with a qualified captain, which is just an hysterical Instagram page. That's like your Miller Lite, your Coors Light of Cape May Brew. So they have that too. That's what I drink. Can't do the heavy beers, guys. I'm a volume guy. So if I do one of those, Original Fudge Kitchen, one of our sponsors, the sponsor of the Samboner show, they did a collaboration with their beer. That's like 10% too now. They did a stout with the fudge. So that will get you turned up. That's a little strong there, Mikey.
Well, let me tell you. Other Half is up in Philly, right outside of
They're crushing it, dude.
Dude, I watched the Phillies Cardinals game up there when they beat the Cardinals to go on. Other Half, what is the name of that beer I had there? I got to find. I don't remember, but that place I recommend up in the Philly area.
Oh, it's Fishtown, man. It's the Fillmore, and then they got the bowling place. What's that? The Brooklyn Bowl.
And Tonewood is the brewing company. The beer is Fuego. It's a fish album, by the way.
Fishtown's a good thing. Mike, we could do a Fishtown episode in itself. It's a great little area.
Well, dude, Tonewood is awesome. I'm a big fan of the band Fish, and a lot of their inspiration is behind that band and the beers that they brew.
The Fuego name of the beer is the Fish album.
Yes.
But Cape May, you mentioned Cape May Brewing, which is fantastic. I love the Snag and Drop. I did my show at Slack Tide. They're moving into a new huge place for the people who come down the shore and drive down like 55. There's a bunch of breweries that you can hit on the way to Cape May all the way through that are.
You need a driver. Dude, through the boat, you need a full-time driver at the Samboners.
I'm telling you, the opportunities are endless.
Summer's a beer month. It's beer year. We're just going to have Mike be our collaborator.
Summers Point Brewing Company has a beer called Flake News. It is fantastic.
I love the name.
Flake News. There you go.
Boom. Anything
I've been to Black Tide. Black Tide's a good spot. I'm glad to see they're blowing up.
Yeah.
Mikey's got to run here in a couple of minutes. Anything for this legendary guys. So people in Philly, right? You listen to all 97.5, 94.1. A couple of years ago, I lived down in Cape May. And my dad says to me, he's like, I've been listening to the 97.3 here. And this guy, Mike Gill, he's a breath of fresh air. I think you're really going to enjoy him. And again, the Philly shows, it's all the same thing. It's a lot of backing. And yeah, I guess there's history. I know there's history listening to certain shows. I get it. But Mike's show, not to blow smoke, is fantastic. It's fun. It's local. It supports the high schools locally down there. It's a history lesson of South Jersey sports. It's all I love it. And Mike's a friend, and I'm patting him on the back, but I love his show. He's got a great show. So download 97.3 app. I have it on my phone. I listen. I'll text Mike out of nowhere in season, like, I disagree. I like whatever. So it's a good breath of fresh air if you're looking for something different to the million callers on a show, on a Philly radio show. Mike's show has a little bit of blend of this, that, the other thing, and I love your show, Mike. It's really good.
We don't do not a lot of call. We take a text message, and I'll go back and forth on the text, but I can't talk to the callers all day because I like to think of myself as a pretty even-keeled, level-headed. I let the irrationals text in, and I'll respond back and forth. But, yeah, we tried it. I've done some stuff up in Philly. I've done some national stuff. But, we got a little niche in something. By the way, I do know a lot of people that work in the Philly market or, stuff that have houses down here have always kind of grabbed me aside and said, hey, man, we really like your show. So
it's a good show.
Hear that, man. And, but as you said, the beer reviews are something I'm loving and I love what you guys are doing. I love that kind of stuff because it is local. It brings the businesses and gives them a shout out. And hopefully, I don't try to embellish. So if you're not good, I'm going to tell you you're not good.
That's where we struggle.
Yeah, this has been a lot of fun, man.
Who got a 9.8 that deserved a 6.8?
Oh my God. Sounds like Colin.
I only eat at the best spots. Why would I, for my one shitty sandwich a week that I can pound in my belly, why would I go to a bad place?
Yeah. Quest for the best, Mike. And, all these places, the different bakeries, and now with all the Cooper Sharp cheeses of the world, like it's kind of hard not to produce a solid cheesesteak. But man, dude, this has been a ton of fun having you on. I can talk to you all day, Mike. I feel like I can talk to you all day.
When I crack open a beer, I have no idea what it's going to taste like. So you'll see from my facial expression, the sniff test. If I give it a whoo, you'll know that beer's not, although the sniff test is a big one. The smell of that beer is a big sign on whether that thing's going to be good or not.
Mike, if you're ever up in the Ambler, PA area, shout out to my good friend Harry Himes. He opened up a place originally in Bluebell back in 2014. It's all craft beer. He's got 20 different craft beers on tap. He does sell Miller Lite and like the White Claws in the little coolers, but it's primarily all craft beer, Grateful Dead type of music, great little vibe in Ambler, downtown Ambler. If you're ever in the area, give it a try, man. You'll love it. You would love it.
My bar of the week, by the way, would be Max's Tap House, Baltimore. It's the bar of the year. It's the best bar. That place is the best place you've ever been if you're a craft. Max's Tap House, Fells Point. That's your bar of the year right there.
Wow. Bar of the year.
Listen, Baltimore, that town, I love Annapolis. I went to Baltimore first, found Annapolis for different reasons. But Man, oh man, man alive, as Mick says. You talk about food and drinking. It's fantastic. It's a small Philly.
Yeah.
It's great. Mike and I have talked about it before. Now, Mike, we're running along quickly.
Yeah, I got to go.
Best Italian hoagie, best cheesesteak at the Jersey Shore.
Oh, that's a tough one.
Name a few.
Well, you got your White House Saccos, Dino's, like your classic island shops, right? They're the Amorosa, not the Amorosa. They are the Atlantic City style roll, the harder roll. They are your classics. You've got places like what's the name? Let's go out to Mays Landing to Sugar Hill. Cheesesteak at Sugar Hill is phenomenal, right? A lot of people don't know it. It's kind of hidden away on Summers Point, Mays Landing Road. It's out in the middle of nowhere. But Sugar Hill cheesesteak, fantastic. If you're getting like a regular, just like a regular, we call it a regular sub down here. What do you guys call it? An Italian hoagie.
Hoagie.
Yeah, down here, a regular sub. Up here, you would be
nonsense, Mike. Nonsense.
You know, a cheesesteak, by the way, at Tony Baloney's up in Atlantic City. It's way down in the inlet up on like Vermont Avenue. Outstanding cheesesteak ole.
I thought you were going to talk about Tony's Baltimore Grill at one point during this show too. I mean, that's a legendary icon.
That's for pizza. You're going with pizza style. You're going Baltimore Grill.
I've been there dude. 1 a.m. after the Maxwells.
Yeah. Tony's Baltimore Grill for the pizza.
Legendary.
You're going Italian. Voltacos is no longer around. I mean, you're looking at if you're just going like Italian, a lot of people just go to the White House in Atlantic City. I mean, you can't go wrong if you're driving into Atlantic City, you got to stop at the White House at least once.
The great Mike Gill.
Absolutely. And it's not one of those tourist places like Pat's and Gino's where it's like it's so touristy that it doesn't live up to the hype sometimes. The White House does live up to the hype.
100%. It's number 1 on the Samboner top 10.
Really?
Yeah, as we speak, the list is a little old, a little outdated. I don't know if it'll keep that ranking, but one of my favorite spots to hit in the Jersey Shore for sure.
It's worth it. It's definitely worth it.
Yes, sir.
Great Mike Gill. You're the best. Thanks for coming on, man. We had a blast.
Guys, you get a 9.8.
Oh, on the Samboner scale. Our future our beer guy. Mike, thanks for coming on, man. We appreciate it. We appreciate everyone at Lilo's, our friends over at Lilo's. They are the best. They treat us so well, and we love their freaking food over there. Amazing. And then our friends at the Original Fudge Kitchen, fudgekitchens.com, shipping fudge and sweet treats across the country. Stay tuned, guys. Bullpen episode next week, right, Mickey? And then we got Seal.
And let's not forget Corpolese Italian Bakery, another big friend of the show. If you've never been to Corpolese, Mike, that right there is the best tomato pie
in the world,
in the entire tri-state area.
They have tons of goodies there. Place is a problem. I love going there, though. Love it to death. That does it, Mickey. Samboner out.
Thanks, Mike.
See you guys.